What's up, you Titans fans? Titan Bros. We're back for a week 2 preview. Even though I think both of us are kind of, our morale's down. Our morale is down, but I think it's more than just losing week 1 of the season, because I think that's happened 3 years in a row now. The Cardinals, the Giants, and the Saints, respectively. But I think what the bigger issue is, it's been a long time since we won a football game. So it's more than just us losing a game, because we are technically on an 8-game losing streak. Last time we won was in November. It is currently halfway through September of the next year.
Yeah, that's really bad. And actually, you're right. And I was thinking that after we lost on Sunday against the Saints, I was thinking this is more to me than just being 0-1, which, obviously we wanted to win that game, but we are in an 8-game losing streak. Bad teams don't go, and lose 8 games in a row. You know what I mean? Even the worst teams don't do that often. And we find ourselves in that. You feel like we're creeping back into a losing culture that we used to be, that we really haven't been since we had Mike Vrabel.
And we were 7-3. 7-3. Started off 0-2, and then ended up going 7-1 in the next 8 games. We're sitting at 7-3. And then everyone on our defense is like, we're not playing football now. We're hurt. And because it was our defense was the only thing keeping us in games there for a while. And then once they left, decided to quit playing football, our season just went to crap.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Anyway, it's unacceptable. You got to find ways to win. I don't care how it hurt you are. If you're Mike Vrabel, you got to find ways to win, because we have plenty of games that we could have won. Some of those games we was winning most of the game, and we choked it away. So you got to find ways to win.
Including Week 18 against the
Jaguars.
We're literally winning 57 minutes out of 60. Yep. And then there was a weird 20-yard pass fumble that they were scored with.
But you got to find ways to win. Either way, let's focus on this season. We're 0-1. We got a national game at home. Chargers coming to town. It's a big one. It's a big one for two. I think it was a big one for our morale. It's a big one to get a win back under our belts. But yes, I believe you want to start off with the injury list.
I do. I'm about to start wearing my hat backwards until we win a game. I'm not superstitious, but
maybe a little stitious.
Maybe just stitious. All right. So here we go. Yeah, we're going to quickly, I don't know why I said quickly, but we're just going to go over the injury report here. So Treylon Burks missed, what day was that? Their first practice? Wednesday. Wednesday's practice with a personal reason. He did not practice on Wednesday, and then he was full participant Thursday and Friday. So there's literally nothing to fear there. He was fine. And the fact that they're doing end arounds and things like that with him in week 1 tells me that his knee is perfectly fine. No issues there. That's good. Amani Hooker, concussion. And we pretty much knew he wasn't playing. I don't think anybody ever plays. Very rare that anyone ever plays the first game after a concussion. So Amani Hooker's a no-go, so it's probably going to be Elijah Molden, heavy dose of Elijah Molden, so we'll really see how he's looking at safety. So not ideal, especially when he was responsible for both turnovers, right? Because Derek Carr only threw the 1 interception.
Oh, yeah,
Hooker,
just
Yeah, Hooker. Yeah, and there's just the 1 fumble, so.
Yep.
Yeah, so nothing to say there? Cool. All right, next one. This is the one that's the biggest story of all of them, is DeAndre Hopkins hurt his ankle, the last offensive play of the game for us. And he did not practice all week. And they asked him in the locker room today, because it's Friday, but they asked him in the locker room today if he's going to play or not. And he just did those classic answers where he's just like, I prepare as if I'm going to play every week or something like that. Just those classic answers.
Which means nothing,
That just tells you nothing. But
the thing
we'll
is,
see about that.
And I'll say this: I think if he does play, he's probably gonna be not the same Hopkins. So either way, if he plays or doesn't play, Treylon Burks got to step it up a little bit, and he's got to get some targets and some catches.
Oh, I'm sleepy. I'm yawning. But yeah, I agree. Traylon Burks got to get some. We did it for one drive. It's almost like Tim Kelly's like, oh yeah, I forgot about him. So we ran him or threw the ball to him, I think 2 plays in a row. We ran him and then threw it and he dropped the last one. Actually, I think, yeah, it basically was all right there in one drive.
I don't know if the drop one was. Because I think
Actually,
the drop one, I think it might have been like midfield when he did that. Because I know the reverse one, he was like in the red zone when he did that, or barely out of it.
Something. But anyways, yeah, it's gonna be probably a heavy dose. I don't know what to say. I have no feel, and he's questionable. So he's not probable. He's not doubtful. He's just questionable. I have a bad feeling he's not gonna go, but I have nothing really to base that on. Just a Titans luck kind of deal.
Yeah.
Next, Christian Fulton with a hamstring. He was limited all week, so he practiced all week, but he was out.
Yeah.
I'm not super surprised by it because hamstrings, I feel like hamstrings just linger.
What I hate, that is something that's good because last the rest of the year. So with some hamstrings, but it sucks. We talked about this before the season starts. Monty Hoko, Christian Fulton, both like to get hurt, and they both couldn't even stay healthy for one game. And it sucks. I know you're not as high on Fulton as I am, but to me, they're both very good players, especially Hoko. But they're both very good players, but they just can't stay on the field.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think they said Fulton's played 30 out of 50 games, so he's missed 20 games in 3 years. That's a lot of games. He's missed a full season's worth, over a full season's worth. Next on the list, Tyjae Spears, groin. He was limited, full, and then he had no designation, which means he's good to go.
Oh, good, because I didn't know he was hurt, so I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. Tier Tart, groin and knee, limited, full, no designation. He's good to go. Trey Avery, who missed week 1 with his hamstring, was full. He's no designation. He's good to go. Dylan Radin's knee was full, no designation, so he's good to go, but he's technically a backup. So we'll see how that goes. But it might not go anywhere. The surprise one was Peter Skoronski. I think he practiced in full Wednesday, Thursday, and then missed Friday because he's sick. So hopefully he gets over that quickly. He's questionable.
The good and bad thing. Are we boring you?
No, it's past my bedtime.
The good and bads is that it's sickness, which means he's not gonna, he'd be fine definitely the next week. It's not something that's gonna be lingering or nothing. But the bad is it's unexpectedly maybe one of our best offensive linemen missing when we can ill afford any more people out.
I would say he's by far our best offensive lineman. But
at least you can't say it was a wasted first round, but anyway.
I mean, he better not be because, I think that was one underlooked story. And whenever we lose this season and we're, 6-11 and we're just trying to come up with some positive, we can be like, at least we had somebody that sadly, I don't think it ever happened in the John Robinson era where you just draft a rookie, they're just a day one starter, and they just a good one of your better players on the team.
Well, Jack Conklin was before he got hurt. He's not having injury problems, but his rookie year, he was like that.
He was fine his rookie year, but we gave him a lot of help, a lot of chip help on the from the tight ends.
By the way, did you see that he tore his ACL again?
I did.
That sucks. He to me, he's a good tackle, but he does have an injury problem. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry, that's not the heel now, but go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice that we'd be able to draft him. No position battle. He's immediately the starter, and now he's already our best offensive lineman.
And I agree with that, but it's just hard to get excited about a guard. It's if you're a bad team and you draft a great guard, that's not going to give you a bunch of wins. And he can play lights out. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking offensive line. I think offensive line is very important, but I think you stop the tackles and go in. So yes, great job, Peter Skoronski, but if that's all we got to show for in the offseason,
we might have lost him.
That.
I'm there. Are you there?
I see. Everything's normal for me.
Okay, because you just froze and your voice went away for about 15 seconds, but you're back.
Really?
Yeah.
Everything seemed normal for me. All right, go ahead.
Okay, got you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Everything in the world is against us. Everything's against the Titans. It's sad. Sad world we live in. But yeah, it's all fine now. Because yeah, you just froze for like 15 seconds with no sound.
There's my internet's fine.
Odd, very odd. Anyways, that's all there is with Titans. So technically, I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. Technically, we're kind of healthy. And you might disagree. Like, there's a lot of names on that list. But technically, we have one player on IR, and that is Kyle Phillips, who I almost forget he even exists.
Yeah.
And then we have 2 questionable, 2 out.
Yeah, but the problem is,
so if the questionable people play,
we played one game. We have 2 starters out and a questionable.
Yeah, so if the 2 questionable play, then we have only 2 people out, and that's probably one of the healthiest teams in the league, which is rare. Only 2 people out after week 1. But anyways, moving on to the much smaller, but much more negative injury report for the Chargers. Chargers have Joey Bosa with a hamstring. He didn't practice Wednesday, Thursday. He was limited on Friday. He's questionable. If he don't play, that's huge for us. And with it being a hamstring, if nothing else, hopefully he's maybe like on a limited snap count. That would be nice. Because he's probably still their best defensive player, even though he don't play that much. So we'll see how that goes. Austin Eckler, depends on who you ask. I think it's Eckler. He did not practice all week with an ankle. He is doubtful. That's a huge swing for the Titans there, because I think he's their best offensive player.
Yeah, that helps a lot. But the thing is, he's dangerous in the sense that he can run, but he also is pretty good in the passing game, so that will help us a lot. But
how much do you trust Jack Gibbons to cover him out of the backfield?
Not very much at all. And I would say the offense still can be plenty dangerous with the receiving core and Justin Herbert. So I feel like we still, this defense, especially now that our secondary is banged up, we're gonna have a hard time against those receivers.
I guess we'll see. But next we have Dan Henley, and I'll be 100% honest with you. I have no idea who he is. He's a linebacker, so I don't even know if. But of course, they also have Eric Kendricks, who's also a linebacker, who didn't practice all week. And then Dan Henley also didn't practice, or he practiced Thursday or Wednesday, but was limited on Thursday, Friday. But both of them 2 are also doubtful. So that'd be a lovely if those were the starters. If they're both their inside linebacker starters were out, be a good time for the king to eat. But anyways, and then the last player, they have outside linebacker Chris Rumpf with hamstring, limited, doubtful. So they had 1 questionable and 4 doubtful. I don't know who Chris Rumpf is, but he's obviously a backup because you got Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa as the starters on the outside. So actually, that'd be huge if Joey Bosa doesn't go, because then Chris Rumpf also being out, their edge would be awfully thin.
It would be. Yeah. So it sounds like they got some key injuries too, just like us. But I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I hate this so much, but the NFL is so much about a quarterback game, and the best quarterback wins such a high rate. And Justin Herbert, to me, is so much better than Ryan Tannehill that I'm still gonna, I still think we're in trouble here, and that we're gonna have to play our best game to win this one.
I mean, yeah, as a negative Titans fan who's in the midst of an 8-game losing streak, full transparency, I'm probably just going to pick us to lose until we eventually win. Like, I'll pick us to lose today. I'll go ahead and throw that out there. And if we do, we go against Browns next, right? I'll pick us to lose against the Browns, and then the Bengals after that. I'll pick us to lose against the Bengals. And if I'm being 100% honest with you, if we're 0-4 and then we go against the Colts, especially if the Colts have gotten a win or 2, I'll go ahead and pick the Colts to beat us. Like, at this point, I'm probably being ridiculous right now. But I'll just pick us to lose until we don't.
I'm going to say this. For Mike Vrabel's security of his job, he better hope we don't go 0-4. If we lose 7 games in 1 year and start off with a 4-game losing streak, no matter who we play against, that's 11 losers in a row. I don't care. Any head coach their job should be in danger with that. That's just unacceptable. Not that I'm thinking he's gonna get fired mid-season, but I'm saying he's gonna get his seat's gonna warm up, and if we just have a losing season this year, he could get fired. I'd say.
Which is annoying that J. Rob screwed us over so much because I think Vrabel is undoubtedly our best head coach we've had since Jeff Fisher, before Jeff Fisher got outdated, because the NFL, adjusted and Jeff Fisher stayed in the past.
Yes, I agree.
So that's why
Jeff Fisher was good for a time, and then you're right, he didn't adjust.
He was good until about 2005, 6 maybe, and then he was done. So since 2005-ish, Vrabel's been by far the best head coach. He's way better than Linchek, way better than Malarkey, way better than Wisenhunt.
Definitely.
And I would hate to see us lose him just because J. Rob left us with such a mess.
Still got to win games. That's just my thing. Got to win games, buddy. And because maybe we're a mess, but we most certainly have some talent. Enough. We're not a Cardinals right now. We're not a team that we got nothing to show up on the field. In my opinion. Maybe you disagree. And I know you like to use the excuse last year of injuries, but this is a big if. This is if we go 0-4. I'm assuming we're relatively healthy in those 4 games we lost. But again, I think I digress. This is about the Chargers right now. And so you think about a close game or blowout here?
I don't want to be over dramatic, but I really could see it being like 31-17.
Okay.
Where it's like they didn't blow us out, but it was like never, like it wasn't that close.
That's funny because I guess I was gonna do this in the video, but I'm gonna say it now. But I have Chargers win 27-17. For some reason, I thought you would say 27-17. No, Titans are home. We're gonna put up a good fight. They're not gonna beat us by 10 points. But you said what? 31-17.
I could see something like that. Now here's the thing, though. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for hope. They didn't even pass the ball that great last week against the Dolphins. They just did it all on the ground. They had over 200 yards rushing. Austin Eckler's not going. They're gonna have to pass. They have no other option but to pass. Titans held obviously the Saints to only 16 points. So they're missing their best offensive player and almost won them their game last week. And we have a really good defense.
Do you know what I think it is? Where this battle could be won and lost is defensive line. How are we going to do? Because we put pressure on Hobart, we have a chance. If we do not, Hobart with his receivers is going to light up our backup secondary. Well, not all of them's backup, but we have 2 that. So I feel like if Hobart has a little time, he's going to kill us. So we have to apply some pressure here. We just have to. Now, granted, we've done that well so far in 1 week, but so we have to do it again.
I was going to say, I think we can because Jeffrey Simmons got a sack. Nico Autry had a sack and a half. Arden Key had a sack and a half, but technically he had 2 sacks and a half because that was a fumble by Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Which would be technically. So technically in week 1, he got 2.5 sacks. So
hopefully Harold Landry can warm up a little bit and get going.
Hopefully. Yeah, he looked a little rusty, but that's expected. He's just literally just barely over a year from his surgery, like a week from a year from his surgery. So I'm sure by like week 6 or so, he'll start to ramp it up a little bit. I hope. I think.
Well, thankfully, we got enough depth that we'll be fine as he's warming up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
For now.
I agree there. But I do agree we have to get pressure on Justin Herbert because if he's just going to stand there all day, our corners are going to get exposed and it's going to go to heck pretty quickly, I think, in my mind. So now offense, I think this is a perfect day/chance for us to get back on track.
Yeah, because let's face it, Chargers defense, even though it's so weird, they have big name defensive players, but they play bad, and they have a defensive head coach, but their defense is bad every single year, and looks so far against the Dolphins. Granted, it was the Dolphins, but they look bad in week 1. So you're right. If our offense has anything to offer, we should be able to move the ball at least a little bit better this week.
Yeah,
and honestly, if our offense doesn't play well, that's going to be very concerning to me.
I mean, yeah, I'll say, but like if they're missing two of their linebackers, I think that's a perfect recipe for Derrick Henry to go ham.
Yeah, I agree. I think that should be our game plan, which I hate because for years I'm like, well, we stop just. I know Henry's good, but we gotta have a little of a balance here. We can't just run, 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 run. And now Kelly looked like he was willing to throw the ball, but Tannehill looks bad. Derrick Henry looked underused. I'm like, we need to stop just run, 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 run.
He just chose a bad week to decide to be pass heavy because I completely agree with you, especially when we had AJ Brown, who's a superstar, and he get 5-6 targets. Where I'm like, he's getting 5 or 6 targets a game, seemingly. He deserves more. Like I'd love to have thrown the ball this many times back in his day. I'm trying to pull up the stats here. It's being slow. There it is. Derrick Henry ran 15 times. We threw it 34.
That's a mixture.
That's a normal NFL. That's a normal NFL team numbers. And like you said, normally, like I've been preaching for situations kind of like that for a long time, but in a game that was never more than a 1-score game. In fact, we led most of it. And a day that Tannehill was not good, we needed to run the ball more. And Derrick Henry was good when we ran it with him. It's not like we were just running him up the middle for like 2 yards and he only had like a 3.8 average at the end of the day or anything. So he was running the ball well. I think hopefully it's not a sign of things to come, but I feel like Tim Kelly needed a slightly better feel there to realize that Derrick Henry's doing well and Tannehill is not.
I think that maybe should have been an in-game adjustment though, because I don't want to guess here, but that's what I'm about to do, guess. But it looked like to me Kelly might be more of a passing coach, and that's what he had in mind. But Tannehill clearly was not up for the challenge. Derrick Henry was doing well. That's where you make an adjustment. Like, oh, I wanted to throw here. I wanted to have empty, backfield, 5 receivers, which was cool. Titans never did that. I would love to do that with Mariota. When we had Mariota, I would love to see that. But anyway, it was cool he was doing that, but it wasn't working. That's where you make a in-game adjustment right there.
Yeah, we'll see. Now, and then again, first time calling plays since like 2021. So he's been a couple years removed. First time in this offense. First time in this offense for everybody. So nobody played preseason starters wise. So maybe that was the rust. This is a good chance for us to get back on track.
Yeah. It's in Nashville, so that gives them a chance here. Yeah. But again, I said this multiple times, but sadly, Titans are not one of those teams like, oh, going to Nashville, that's a hard place to win. No one's going to say that. Sadly, I feel like half the time, half of the crowd is wearing the away team's jersey. But
yeah, well, Chargers have a small market. They're a small market team, and LA's pretty far away, so I don't think.
And if nothing else, at least we don't have to play in New Orleans or a place like that because our offensive line did not do well with the noise. We did a lot of false starts. So at least we don't have to worry about that this week.
Yeah, I agree.
So sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so basically it sounds like our game plan, we're both in agreement here. Got to get after Herbert. That defensive battle versus their offense is going to be won by our front seven. Our pass rush is what's going to be so important. And on offense, heavy dosage of the king. That is basically what the strategy is on both sides. Would you say?
I'm not saying 28 to 32 carries or anything like that, but 15 wasn't enough. I'd say like 20 to 24, somewhere in there.
I say, man, it depends on how it's going, but I'm gonna say like 20 runs by Henry and throw 5-6 for Sharp.
Yeah,
because he looks decent to me. Now, granted, it was funny. He's supposed to be a decent receiving back, but he had 2 balls off of his hands that he didn't catch.
Like they both would have been hard, but I would like to see him get one of them.
At least one of them, because
preferably the one in the end zone.
Yes. Actually, that was really only. Sorry.
That was a beauty of a throw.
Yes, that was great. Like it's funny. That was really early in the game, so I didn't know Tannehill was gonna have such a horrible day. But I remember when he threw that Tannehill, I'm like, that was a good throw by Tannehill. He threw that right where only he could get it, and that may have been his best throw of the day. That was incompletion.
Yeah, because if he would have caught that, he would just fell right into the end zone.
Yeah.
That would have been beautiful, but
He didn't.
didn't. You know who I almost forgot existed, even though he's technically a starter?
So
Roger McCreary. I did not hear a single thing, good or bad, from him.
is he starting this week?
I think he started last week too.
Well, was he over Button or was he?
He's a
was he
slot.
Hmm.
He's slot now.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I mean, you could be a starting slot, but they don't always every single play have a slot cornerback out, or do they?
For the Saints, I think they normally have him a slot out there, but I can't even remember now because I was a
Because if you're
little.
third string in the cornerback list, I don't know if I call that starting, but I mean, and most play offenses today has this slot receiver, so you probably don't play like 80% of the snaps still.
Yeah. Well, regardless, he'll play his fair share of snaps this week with the Fulton being out.
What did you think about Button's game last week?
What did I think about Bunting's game?
I feel like he did all right, but he allowed that touchdown.
Yeah, I would just say average. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't like disappointed. He was fine. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. The snappage usage, because they did eventually upload that. Dead air. That's never supposed to happen. What are you looking up?
Just looking at some stats last week.
Okay.
Which this is supposed to be a preview, so I'm not sure why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, McGrady was literally not on any kind of stat sheet. He didn't even have one tackle, I guess. Hey, maybe that means he shut someone down.
I doubt it. But yeah, I'll be able to pull it up here in just a second. So you entertain the people while I'm looking.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Not like that. Talk about the Titans.
Well, let's hope does better. I lost you. There you go.
Dang it, of course I picked the one Titans reporter who did not upload it.
Let's hope we have a better. I guess this is a name that we haven't mentioned yet. Let's hope Chig has a better game.
Yeah, we got to throw him the ball more. We threw it to him 3 times. One time we missed him wide open. One time we threw it to him and they did a penalty. One time we threw it to him and he dropped.
Yeah.
So that to me that's unacceptable to only throw it to him 3 times.
It's weird, like oh, Traylon Burks didn't get thrown to enough. Oh, Chig didn't get thrown to enough. But we threw the ball plenty. So who's getting the balls? Basically just Hopkins, I think.
Yeah, it was like 14 of them. So literally almost half the targets went to him. Yeah. Of course, Nick Westbrook-Ikhine was our most explosive wide receiver. That was confusing.
And normally I would complain about that, but he, even better than Hopkins, was doing most after he caught the ball.
Yeah. All right, I found it. Let's find Roger McCreary. He played 88% of the snaps.
Wow, that is the majority. I said 80.
So yeah. So definitely he.
And he did not get one stat thing, not one.
Yeah. So I don't even know if I guess this person never got targeted. So again, I don't know if that means good job on him or I guess it would be because it's not like he allowed stuff.
Yeah.
I don't guess.
Let me say
let me put it this way: if he allowed it, then he didn't get the tackle. So
if he allowed it, he must have been fall like really busted coverage because he was falling.
Yeah, actually, a lot of times if I'm looking at stats, I hate seeing a cornerback get a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
So that usually means they allowed. Like if they get like 8 tackles, it probably means that's 8 catches you allowed.
Yeah.
So. So.
You want to? We already said what we thought the final scores would be, but officially, I said I hate to say it. Chargers win 27-17. Your official thing is you'll say what?
I'm not gonna officially say 31-17. I could see that'd be how it go, but I just don't think our defense is that bad because the Dolphins, their defense they have some superstars like Jalen Ramsey, but obviously he's not playing yet. So that's how many, like 31 points is what they scored last week against the Dolphins. And obviously, we have a better defense than the Dolphins do. So I don't see us allowing, I don't see us allowing 31 points. So I'm gonna say 27-14.
Oh, so you have us scoring only 14?
I mean, just because we haven't scored touchdowns since last year.
You're like, the 2 touchdowns sounds difficult for us.
I'd say, can you imagine finding pay dirt twice in one game?
That's wild. That is. All right. So sadly, we both got Titans going 0-2.
Yeah. So I'm very much pessimistic just because of how it was last week. I really shouldn't be. I really shouldn't be pessimistic because think about it. We lost by 1 point with our quarterback playing maybe the worst game of his career. We lost by 1 point.
Because I'm reading an article and this guy was saying Tannehill looked old to him, is what he was saying. So that's the question. Did Tannehill just happen to have a bad game and he got to bounce back and be decent like Tannehill's decent quarterback? Or did Tannehill hit that wall? And because the guy I was reading talk about, he looked like he was noodled on a little bit. He couldn't push the ball down a little bit. And like every pass he did was under. Even catchable ones was a little behind, a little under. It was just like he looked like he couldn't get the ball two-way, and the out routes was not good. It's always behind. The guy was talking, but again, that's one guy's opinion. And I am curious to see week 2. Who knows? Tannehill could go out there, be 22 for 28 and 250 yards and a touchdown and no picks. He could do that. But if he doesn't, then I might be a little more concerned.
I mean, yeah, I guess we'll see. It's hard to make any kind of predictions when you literally have one game to go off of.
Yeah,
it's not we have like 6, 7, 8 games to go off of. We have one game to go off of, so it's so easy to
and Saints have a good
be too high on the highs and too low on the lows. Like it's possible we put up 28 points, but then our defense allows 38.
Yes.
So
that'd be frustrating if that happens.
Because also you don't know anything about your opponents. Like who knows? The Saints might have the best defense this year. Maybe they have the best, and that's why we were only able to score 15 points. Who knows? The Saints offense might be absolutely garbage, and that's the only reason they only scored 16 points. So it's just hard to make any kind of actual factual predictions off of one game.
4, 5, 6, 7, you can start making more accurate things because you are right. And right now we are making a lot of predictions and a lot of stuff we're saying by 1 week. It is just 1 week. I think one reason why we are doing this so passionately against the Titans because we almost put that one loss at the end of the 7 losses to last year.
Yeah. Like if last year we hadn't fallen apart and we went into the playoffs, and even if we just lost the first game of the playoffs, we were like 10-7, lose to the Chargers in the playoffs, which we're playing Chargers now. Anyways, lose Chargers in the playoff in the divisional round, 10-7, 10-7 season, whatever. And then we lose week 1 of this year. I wouldn't be as down as I am, like I said, at the very, very, very beginning of the video, where I'm just kind of attaching all the nastiness that happened in the back end of last season to this, making it an 8-game losing streak. So
it's up for the Titans and Vrabel. They got to put that stink off of this team. They got to get a win under the belt. I don't know about you, but even if it's ugly, even if we somehow, which I don't think this is going to happen, but we make this an ugly game and we win 16-13, I could care less.
I mean, it was an ugly game last year when we played them.
But see, that's the difference. Vrabel, I've always had some issues with him. I wish we had an offensive-minded head coach. But one thing I give Vrabel is he could win those ugly games. He did that well. He did not do that during the 7-game lose streaks. He found ways to lose them. And then in the game of the Saints, I don't know if you would say he found ways to lose us. It depends on what you think about the decision not going for it. But I still wouldn't say he lost us the game. But he sure as heck we didn't win the game. So we're not having that anymore to us.
And I still blame that mostly on the offense, though. We lost a defensive slug out. I don't know if you want to use that word. Lost a defensive game to the Saints. Lost a defensive game to the Chargers last year. Lost a defensive game against the Bengals. Honestly, Joe Burrow, people like Joe Burrow owns the Titans, but Joe Burrow struggles against the Titans. It's some reason our offense struggles against their defense because we only allow the Bengals to score like 15, 16, 19 points somewhere in there. And then for some reason we just put up less than that. Issue, so yeah, if you want to say Bengals defense owns Titans, go right ahead because sadly they do. But yeah, so we'll just see. We'll see how the game goes. My official prediction, I'm gonna say I wanted to say 27-17, but that's the same thing you said, which I guess technically we had the same score last time. Just you said Saints would win. I said Titans would win.
Yeah.
With the 17-20. So yeah, honestly, I'll just bump it up because I'm sure we'll stall when we shouldn't have on like the 3-yard line. We'll kick a field goal and make it 17. But anyways, so 27-17.
So we both got 27-17 Chargers.
Yeah, could very well be wrong. Could be very well be wrong because Vrabel's specialties. He loves winning games he ain't supposed to. He likes to lose a game he's not supposed to, but he loves winning games he shouldn't win. So we will see. Yeah, I hope it happens, but we'll see. So maybe, don't count on it. The Titan Bros will be a little bit more peppy next time you hear from us. Because I'll be honest, I'm just kind of like I didn't hardly spend any time on Twitter this week. I didn't even watch that many Titans. Whatever, Twitter X is what a lot of people just call it now. I didn't spend much time watching Titans videos this week. Like I just very sour right now. So hopefully next time you hear from me, it'll be me being excited, having the first victory reaction video on this channel.
We've never had one. Nope. Besides preseason, if you count that.
Nope. That counts as nothing. A glorified practice. So anyways, I guess that's it. We're going to head out of here. So peace out and all that jazz.
All right. See you later.